Hello and welcome to another Julius Christopher Sewing and Design Academy tutorial video here on YouTube. Now I have with me some little itty bitty torso patterns and even smaller sleeve pattern. I got these out of my pattern making book. These are not mine. I did not come up with these, but I'm just using for them this illustration. So say you did want to take the premium Raglan sleeve class, but you don't already have a basic bodice that you can use. And even if you don't have that, you don't even have like a basic dress pattern that you've made or something like that that you can use. Well, I guess the question that I want to pose here, and overall just talking about the classes that I teach in general, what's the value of saving you some time? What's the value of saving you some mistakes? And I really want you to take a second and think about, you know, how much time we waste on making mistakes. So let's say, for instance, you're really excited about doing something and you're not taking one of my classes and you're figuring it out on your own. Mistakes are valuable, but sometimes mistakes are extremely expensive, especially in fashion design. And let's say you're really excited, you go buy this bolt of fabric and you're like, okay, I bought this bolt of fabric, I bought just enough, and it cost me maybe about $20 because it wasn't exactly on sale. Okay, I bought just enough to do this idea or what I think I'm gonna make. I bought this pattern and I'm going to make it. We start cutting out the pattern, so now the pattern's cut out. You really can't do anything with the pattern if you mess up. So hopefully you have the right size selected. Then you place the pattern on the fabric, you start cutting, and by now, you know, by the time you get all your pieces cut out, maybe a good hour has gone by. Because, you know, the more beginner you are, I guess is the good word, the less efficient you can be. You know, we tend to cut slower sometimes. We tend to kind of think a little bit more, think a little longer. And I know I still do that sometimes, even now to this day. But we cut out all of the pieces, we place it on the fabric, and then we start cutting stuff out. And once we start to sew it, we're kind of like, ooh, I don't really understand this. So we go and grab the directions. We start sewing, we go sewing. We're doing things we think we know what it's trying to tell us. And as we're sewing all the pieces together, we find out, oh, that sleeve doesn't sew together like that. That's supposed to be closed. Oh my gosh, so mistake number one. So it takes us about 5 minutes to take it apart. And then another 2 minutes to sew it together, kind of check it, look and make sure we did that right. Then we sew this part together, okay. So it's starting to come together. Then, oh, now we forgot to sew with the bust dart, or the bust dart looks really crappy. Now we have to redo that. Or our bust dart is angled up this way instead of that way. Okay, cool. Undo this. All these little mistakes are adding 5, 10, 20 minutes each time, depending on how many stitches. And especially if you're doing more stitches per inch, it's going to take you a lot longer to take these mistakes out. And then also, if you're using a nicer fabric, or even something, say, like a satin, like a wedding dress satin, or what do you call it, a suit satin, then you're sewing all these together, and you notice as you start to take stuff apart and you're re-sewing, you look on the outside of your fabric and you have all these marred edges. So that's crazy. So by the end of your total project, you've given up and you've wasted about 6 hours before you found out that you made a couple more mistakes, and you have all these holes in your fabric from where stuff got messed up. So what's the value of saving you time? So basically told you that to tell you, okay, to give you another idea of how to use the basic Raglan sleeve class. Okay, so you want to take that class, but you don't have a basic bodice pattern. Well, the problem's solved. All you have to do, go to the store and buy you a pattern. Something simple. You can do a simplicity pattern or something. Well, we can't use that one. Let's see if I have another pattern. Well, we'll just assume that this is it. Now, what you need to do, you do need to read the back and make sure you choose the right one. Now, on here, I would suggest looking at the top and saying, okay, this one goes up to 14. So if I turn on the back, where's 14? Okay, so pattern size up to a 14. So if you draw a line there, that shows you that this physical pattern that you have is only gonna do this range of sizes. If you're bigger than that, or if you need a bigger pattern for that, then you'll have to go over here. And excuse me for that if it sounded really insensitive. I didn't mean for that. But then you need to go and get the other size, the next size up group of patterns. I've bought patterns and gone home and completely forgot to look at that part, and that saved me that wasted gas and time on my part. So you need the next one up. So make sure now you need to know the measurement of your bust and your waist and your hip that you're using for this pattern, and I always suggest looking at the finished garment measurements. So looking at the bust measurement is usually a good way to tell. If you have a 36 bust or you need it to fit a 36 bust, it's usually good for it to be a little bigger. You can make the 14 and that should work for you, and they don't have the ease in it. If you want something that fits a little tighter and maybe you're not quite a 36 bust, I would suggest doing the next size down. Even if you're like a 35, it'll fit a little better, but it won't be too tight. So anyway, make sure you have the right one, cut out the right size. Okay, so now you're here. The basic gist of doing a raglan sleeve pattern, it's really not very hard. And it's really not hard if you have someone there to guide you along the way. That makes every step that much easier. So now, this is the quick version of what you're going to be doing. Where's my rulers? Okay, now the basic premise of doing yours, you can take your dress pattern that you've now cut out, you can use that as your bodice pattern, and it makes it so much simpler. And it's even better if the dress has a sleeve included with it. Make sure it's something kind of basic, that way you're not far off from what we'll be doing in the actual class. So basically what you're going to be doing in a nutshell is you'll be drawing a style line here. You'll be slightly curving the style line, okay, so that the style line becomes something like this. Okay. You'll also be dropping the armhole some, and then you'll be reshaping the armhole. Okay. Then, after you've done all of that, you'll also be marking a position called X, which, if I'm correct, should be here. And then also you'll be doing a lot of the same things on here. You'll move the arm down the same amount as over here, and then you'll redraw the slope of the arm like that. Okay, let me get my scissors and cut as I'm going. Okay, and I'm just going to be doing an example on one side, that way we won't get too confusing here on YouTube. Okay, cool. So then, and also remember, this is not the perfect size for that. This should be bigger, but it's cool. This is just an illustration. Okay, so now you need to find out, where this mark would join here. So let's say it's about here, and we'll mark it there. Okay. Then next thing you're going to be doing is taking this off. And also, if you don't have notches, or you're not sure where your notches go, it really doesn't matter, because we're going to move the notches. But you'll take this, then you'll be plotting this somewhere else. So I'm going to take a piece of tape,